Hi, my name is Amina. Glad you could join me. Today's video is very interesting, something that I've been wanting to share with ladies, and this video is particularly for you ladies. It's about body types. Like I always say, I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a doctor, I'm just someone who lost weight, and I've learned a couple of things along the way that I'll be glad to share with you. So let's talk about body type. Do you ever sit as a woman and think about yourself and think about why is it so hard sometimes? You a couple of friends, some people can eat and never add weight, while you just breathing food, the sight of food makes you fat. Do you ever sit and wonder, okay, I go out, we go to the gym with this friend of mine, we work out the same, we eat the same, we do the same thing, or we are on this diet, but this person tends to lose weight, but I don't, and we are all, it's not like she's doing something different, or you know, you're just two females who have different struggles. Well, knowing your body type plays an important role in what kind of lifestyle you should have. And there are three categories of female body types, but this particular video I'm going to talk about endomorphs. There are three. There is the ectomorph, mesomorph, and endomorphs. And in this series, the three-part series, I'm going to start with the hardest, which I feel is the endomorph, as I move towards easier. So this video is about endomorphs. If you watch this video and you feel like it's not you, just wait for the other two parts of this series. Probably it's going to be a body type. So let's get to the endomorphs. And this clearly, you can see I'm so excited about talking about endomorph because I am an endomorph, and I feel like this body type is the hardest to crack, especially when it comes to weight loss. This body types tends to be what typically African women or most people generally will want to look like. They tend to have they tend to be hippie, and then they tend to store their fat on their lower body. So this is the typical, for lack of better example, let me just say the Kim Kardashian type body type. Like you have hips and glutes and ass, you're curvy. These are the endomorphs. There are two categories of the endomorph. There is the apple and the pear. Now the pear shape is the typical one that I'm describing, the Kim Kardashian curvy body type, and then there's the apple, who are slightly different from the pear because they tend to have a lot of their fat on their midsections. So how would you know you're an endomorph? So these are the characteristics of an endomorph. They tend to have a slow metabolism. It's so easy for them to add weight, and when I say weight, I say add fat. While it's the same group of people that it takes the longest time, it's so hard for you to lose that fat. They most of the time have something we call insulin resistance, and then they also their body likes to store, like I've said, fat on their lower body. They also like I've said, gain fat easily. They struggle to lose weight. And then another important thing that they happens with the endomorph, when they work out, they tend to gain muscle easily. So it's not all bad. So this is the body type that tends to be like the most problematic. When it comes to why I feel like I'm an endomorph, because sometimes I sit with my friends, even now that I'm on my weight loss journey, I tend to tell them the sight of carbohydrates makes me fat. And that's me because I'm an endomorph. Endomorph, we tend to, most of the time, we have 0 to low carb intolerance. Like if you eat a packet of crisps today, trust me, when you step on the weighing scale, it's going to show. So what do we do? Are we doomed? So that's the important question. As an endomorph, what are you supposed to do? And so I'm going to address this endomorph body type in terms of the tips, in terms of two ways, when it comes to nutrition and to workout. Because as an endomorph, I repeat, as an endomorph, it is very important to work out. you cannot, like, compared to the other body types, you cannot achieve your weight loss by simply just doing focusing on nutrition. You have to balance both. And so I'm going to address what you're going to do as an endomorph in terms of your nutrition, and then in terms of your workouts, in terms of what to do if you're working out. So let's start with the eating part. When it comes to eating part, you look at carb intolerance, and how you look at it as an endomorph. How do you know? Because there are two categories of endomorphs that a group of endomorphs tend to do slightly better with carbohydrates. So there's another group that cannot, like, process carbohydrates well. So how do you know? This is how you know. When you eat a carbohydrate, let's say you've eaten what can I say, chips, I don't know, I'm just trying to think, or ugali, any type of carbohydrates, do you feel tired? Do you feel sluggish? Do you feel lethargic? Do you feel like you want more? If this is you after taking carbohydrates slightly, let's say after lunch you've eaten ugali, skuma and nyama, do you feel sleepy? Do you feel tired? If that is you, it means you're that category of endomorphs that do not have a lower carb intolerance, like you don't do well. But there's another group of endomorphs that slightly can take carbohydrates but don't feel as bad as those. So you look at, in terms of carbohydrates, you look at how your body, and remember, every body is different. We are not the same. So if you're endomorph and you have a low carb intolerance, you'll do well on two types of diets. And the first diet is a ketogenic diet. But here's the trick. If you're an endomorph and you have low carb intolerance, you do well, you go on ketogenic diet if you have the following conditions: PCOS, if you are or you're diabetic, or you what is it called, or you have low insulin resistance. This is a category that slightly, and please, before you take any diet, consult with your doctor. You can do well with keto. But there's a group of endomorphs like me who have low carb intolerance and also have a thyroid issue. Like I've said, most of endomorphs tend to have a hormonal imbalance. A bigger chunk of endomorphs tend to have a thyroid problem, and me, in my case, I have hypothyroidism. And so if you have that condition, you cannot go on keto. You go on low carb, but don't go on, like, generally keto. It's not good for you. If you have a thyroid problem, you can do a bit of carbs, but just time your carbs. Don't go on keto. Another important thing when it comes to eating, if you're an endomorph, you have to be on intermittent fasting. Just look at it. You gain fat easily. You need to lose fat easily. And your body is set up not to release the fat, like not to lose fat. So what do you do? Intermittent fasting. Like I always say, intermittent fasting helps you burn glucose for energy, and then you need to tap into your stored fat, because you tend to hold on to a lot of fat, and especially the fat that is built on your thighs and your glutes and your body. So you have to go on an intermittent fasting. Other tips that have really worked for me as an endomorph include taking apple cider vinegar daily. And I recommend, in my opinion, I recommend apple cider vinegar 2 tablespoons in the morning with lemon, freshly squeezed lemon water in the morning and at night. I also recommend taking enough fiber, of course, and then also green tea. Green tea studies have shown that green tea helps facilitate fat loss, helps to burn fat. And then you also need to avoid stress. Just because you're fasting, you also need to go slow on coffee. Don't be taking like up to 10 cups of coffee a day as an endomorph. Try and go slow with the coffee. With the hormonal imbalance, because most endomorphs tend to have hormonal imbalances, try and look out for symptoms of hormonal imbalance diseases, for lack of better words, like thyroid, PCOS. Look out for that, because there's a tendency. Generally, when you look at your diet as an endomorph, you tend to look at you can 20% of carbohydrates or below, then 35% of protein, and then 45% of fat. This body type is the body type that you do not do well with carbohydrates. So at least generally also look at having 500 calories less than your total daily energy expenditure. You should eat less calories than what you burn, at least by 500 as an endomorph. Remember, your body type is the hardest. Like we look like people who are set up for disaster. So you need to have, like, your diet should be thick. Even if you're having a cheat meal, you can't be cheating every single day, because your body is not like let's say an ectomorph or a mesomorph that tend to, do better, which I'll explain later. But if you're an endomorph, you have to you can't have do lazy type of diet. You have to be sort of a perfectionist when it comes to your food and to your workout. So that is all to do with what to eat. Now, as an endomorph, I've also insisted that you have to work out. But when you work out, you need to be smart about it, so that even if you're working out, you're not just working out and you're not seeing results. You're working out to achieve your goals, especially when it comes to weight loss. So number one, you have to do cardio at least 4 to 5 times a week. Like cardio. And I don't think I say it enough. You need cardio as an endomorph. Remember, your body, even if right now I'm almost reaching my goal weight, but I don't have the room to slack. Like an endomorph, I'm sorry to say this, but you can't. So yeah, you have to do cardio at least 5 times a week. And when I say cardio, I'll say approximately you do 45 minutes of cardio, 30 to 45 minutes. I mean, I sound like I'm saying bad things, but trust me on this. You need to be doing cardio 4 to 5 times a week, at least for 45 minutes. Also, another important thing, you need to lift weight. And when it comes to I'm not by them to a gym sana, but I've learned a few things. When it comes to endomorph with the body type in terms of working out, it's good, or it's recommended that you start with, if there's a day you're doing weights and then you're doing cardio, start at least with the weights, then go to the cardio, because you need to, when you start, you need to have done at least 20-25 minutes of working out, so that your body can deplete the glucose, so that after the 20-25 minutes your body starts to burn its own fat. So now you go into cardio. Another important thing, it's if you can, you do your cardio while you're fasted. Don't eat then, like mostly do it when you're fasted. Another thing is that if you're a endomorph who's a pear shape, you tend to hold your fat on the lower body. You tend to do better with cardio. The type of cardio that you do well is walking, running, because you want to burn fat all over your body. You don't want to focus. You try and avoid cardio, you see, let's say spin classes that will grow your glutes while you still have fat. So you will tend to be bigger if you're trying to slim down as an endomorph. Another important thing to do is that you also need to rest. Rest and recovery is very, very important as an endomorph. You see, an endomorph, it looks like it's so hard for you to achieve your weight loss, but trust me, when you do the things that I've said, and me being an endomorph, I moved from my hip size was 58 to now that I'm 44. It means that when you focus on the tips that I've given you, even if you're an endomorph, you will see results. So I'd love to hear what you think. Do you know your body type? How did you find it? What are your struggles as an endomorph? What else would you want to do? In the future, I'll continue talking about this body type. I just wanted to have for you guys to have an introduction about the body types. In case you have your 50-50, you don't know if you're an endomorph, just go to Google endomorph. And sometimes you might look like you have characteristics of 2 body types, but one has to be dominant. So tell me what you guys think about your body type. Are you an endomorph? What are your struggles? But remember, as an endomorph, it might look hard, but with nutrition and working out every single day, it's very possible to achieve your ideal body that you want. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.